Actually, you know what? Now that you're here, I want to talk to you about Eliza. And I think this character is massively underrated.
Nah, she's crap, dude.
No, she's not. She's not. I think she's the most underrated character on the entire roster. And especially after you helped, well, you basically wrote the Eliza script and I played around with her. I think especially after the buff she got, what was it? Like, in the latest patch. Moonlight 4 into EX dive kick.
Instant dive kick 3 or quarter circle back 2, which gives you, I mean, you could sort of do it previously, but the down 3 DP1 into guaranteed wall combo. Potential guaranteed follow-up after 4-4-3-3 on hit, but that wasn't really that big. But it was enough of a change that the character, in my opinion, remained low tier, but had some life breathed into her, and she at least, moved a little bit on the tier list. And it was honestly enough to really invigorate me, and I think a lot of other people who play her. I've got a lot of Eliza players in my sort of viewer community, and we talked about that. And so it just goes to show that you don't really have to do much to a character when you buff or you want to improve a weak character. You just have to give them something in a spot that has really been itching, poke range or jab range for Miguel, tiny bit, and then all kinds of possibilities open up.
Yeah, this is my thing. She's so focused on her wall game. And her wall carry is so good, and she's so intimidating at the wall that I think that being able to knock down a character with Moonglide 4, pick him up with the EX dive kick, and then take them to the wall really changes her dynamic completely, because then she gets a legitimately scary low that can turn rounds around. And for that reason, I would say, if you're on a wall-less stage, she's kind of just a nuisance. I'd say she's bottom 10 on a wall-less stage. She can kind of fart around and throw fireballs, and she's hard to approach. But she's not. You can wait her out if you play patiently enough, and you don't walk into a counter hit. Her damage potential on wall-less stages isn't great. You can play a slow, patient game and whittle her out. Most characters can beat her. But on a wall,
true. But there you go. The fact that you struggle that much to compete on a stage without walls is really a pretty significant weakness when we have that many wall-less stages.
But I think on the other hand, conversely, on a walled stage, I think she's potentially top 10. And I'm not shitting here. I think she's insane. No, seriously. She can dictate the pace of a match. It's so hard to approach her. And then all the time she's building meter. You're on the clock. There is this pressure to get in. There's this pressure to get in through this wall of fireballs, through these slippery, evasive dive kicks, through these counter hits. And then at any point, she can moonglide in. Then you're at a mix-up situation. Her approach is very easy in that respect. She can moonglide in, and then you're in a mix-up situation. If she guesses correct, you're at the wall, and then you're in a terrible 50-50 situation. She's without walls, she's a character without a game plan. But with walls, it totally changes the dynamic of that character.
Yeah. I mean, you have good points with everything you're saying, and of course I'm going to be biased because I just think of all the ways I usually lose when I play this character. But for example, you talk about her building meter. Unlike Akuma or Geese, Eliza having a lot of meter doesn't really change that much about her. She gets the EX option from down 3 into wall splat at the wall, which is one of the reasons she's so good there. But it's not like her EX Moonglide is a low into a guaranteed launch, and when she has 2 bars, if you have multiple bars on Geese or Kuma, you death combo, you can burn both of your bars with an Eliza combo and not get 65 damage. You can extend your wall carry by burning a bar at the end of a standard combo, and you get 64 with meter burn and stuff like that. So I agree with some of what you're saying. It's just that sometimes you run, this is the whole thing with her, right? I agree. I can rely on all of her tricky stuff and run through people online, but every once in a while you run into somebody really good who knows what to do, and then you're such a toothless animal. And I think when we're talking about tier lists, we sort of talk about what is the potential of the character in a seriously competitive match, right? I think that's why people don't bring her to tournament, because then you're playing against somebody who really knows, how to not stand and wait for Moonglide, but maybe, move to the side and stuff like that. So I agree that she's a nightmare until the opponent figures her out. She's much easier to win with in the first match than in the revenge match, for example. So one and done is a good strategy with her, but now you're a fucking pussy who doesn't want to play death matches. So I think it's a problematic design, and I have my views on her. But I will agree that, like, if I still think she's kind of shitty, but if they leave her the way she is now, I'm happy.
I legit think she has a really solid game plan with walls, though, because without, again, I'll just reiterate what I said again. Like, without walls, I feel like she's a bit annoying, but ultimately it gets nowhere. But with walls, you have a reason to approach. And if you have a reason to approach, you have a reason to walk into counter hits. But if you don't approach, she's building meter, and she can take you to the wall. And then at the wall, she's one of the, just arguably, like, one of the best wall games in the game.
Dive kick pressure is more plastic than you imagine. There are many more ways of escaping it than you think. It's less true than it seems. What was the other point I was getting to? I was looking at the chat and I lost my train of thought. They were talking about down 3 range being really bad, which is a huge thing.
In open ground.
Oh yeah,
in open ground.
You just talked about counter hits, right? So the counter hit you can walk into when you try and approach her is back 1-2, which is a good move with good range, and it is a counter hit.
Standing 4 as well.
But standing 4 is not that good. It's kind of it's very short range, very high hitbox. It kind of got left behind when they buffed Eliza's version of that move and not hers. But the back 1-2 is good, but punishable on block. If she does the extension to try and deal with a punish, it's walkable to the side. So it at least involves a risk trying to apply it. Whereas, I don't know, Dragunov's running 2. That's the constant example. But that's a counter hit move that, in my opinion, doesn't really involve risk unless the opponent is going to risk a very a risky side step or walk, which they might fuck up and then get hit because of it. So I see your point. It's just that you need to lose a couple of games against somebody really good with her, and then you feel less confident about her. But I could be talking out my ass and she's busted, and I'm just a fanboy.
Yeah, no, I just feel that when people say that she's terrible, I just think maybe this would have been true before you could get a legit combo from Moonglide 4 and take them to the wall. But now there really is a reason to be scared of her offense. And there really is a reason to approach her. And that's what she wants you to do. She wants you to approach. But I feel like we're just...
She wants you to approach. She wants you to fuck up on the approach, but what if they don't fuck up? And what if they go in with something that puts you at frame disadvantage, and now she doesn't have any pokes? She can do down jabs, and then they low parry the down jabs. I mean, we could go back and forth indefinitely, but
like her counter game, like MYK is chiming in the chat. Like, her counter game is legit good. Like, especially from her low jab. I mean, her low jab is probably the best low jab in the game in that respect. Well, next to Akuma, it's
well, the fact that you can go into like dive kicks and stuff, I guess. But then if people are good at movement, they can deal with that as well. Depending on the matchup and whatever. Like I said, it's not completely clear cut, but I wouldn't call her a strong character.
Okay.
A difficult to play against character, for sure. But
again, I'd agree with you on Waller stages, but I think she has real untapped potential on Wall stages, and I think maybe top 10's exaggeration, but whatever. Like, there are at least 20 top 10 characters in this game. Yeah. I think she's strong on a Wall stage.
40 top 10 characters, and then a couple of dog shit characters who can't compete.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.